Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 4 of Unmuted. So here's the thing. One thing that has been consistent throughout this challenge is that workflow is an essential ingredient to sustainability. Going all in without a plan leads to frustration and stagnation, which is the complete opposite of what we want. So finding a workflow that works for us, our goals, and our schedules, and slowly but consistently building that habit tends to work in our favor, especially when it comes to video creation. So our guest today, Diana Gladney, author of The One Right Video, and Vibe Curator, Marielou Mandl, are going to share their workflow with us and how they manage to plan, create, promote, and post their videos. So without further ado, I will introduce you to my guest. My name is Anna Hill, and you're watching Unmuted. Hello, Diana. How are you?
I am doing fantabulous. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year's. Good to see you.
The whole thing, right? The whole thing. So you see that little square there. We're waiting for Mary Lou. She will be here later. But Diana Gladney is here with us. And Diana, I'm so thankful to have you on this challenge with us because I think that you are amazing and I hadn't seen you in so long. So when, we were thinking about who should be in this episode and your name came up, we were like, yes. So thank you for being here with us, Diana.
Pleasure. My pleasure. Always a fun time to be here.
Yes. So Diana, for those of us who are not familiar with you, can you please share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Diana Gladney. I'm a native out of St. Louis, Missouri. A wonderful, incredible, the best of the best, I would say, aunt of double-digit nieces and nephews at this point, with grand nieces and nephews, or great nieces and nephews at this point as well. Come from a very large family. And with that, I have built this business that helps me help entrepreneurs simplify the video creation process to help them reach wider, connect deeper with the people that need you the most. And that is your audience and your group, which is how the book came about and everything else in the in between. So needless to say, this is a fantastic topic to discuss because with that, some of you may know, some of you may not know, I've struggled for some years and been challenged with stage 4 endometriosis. And so I think something to the tune of 40 to 60% of the US population deals with some kind of debilitating disease, sickness, illness, or something thereabout, or you have a loved one that's close, sometimes a spouse or a sibling or whatever, a family member that also deals with that. So part of that process that I was able to help develop for myself was birthed out of managing life and at the time working full-time at the bank and eventually was able to quit that in 2019 and go full-time in my business. So I took the year off this year. So you won't see a bunch of appearances this year, but that's a little bit about me, my backstory, and how I got started was just getting started. And sometimes you just have to remove those roadblocks of what is holding you back in your time.
That is right. That's exactly right. Because that's when we go so all in, right? Like we go all in, whether we have a plan or sometimes we just don't have a plan. We just have we need to create video because we hear it, right? Create video or create content because that's what we hear. But without a plan, we're going to get burnt out. I mean,
Yep.
That's something that's sure that's going to happen. I mean, we get burnt out with a plan. So imagine if we don't have a plan and our heads are all over the place, right? So it's good for you for taking that break, for recognizing that you needed it. And more so, good for you that you had the support to be able to do that.
100%, because I definitely did not do this by myself. And a lot of times you do need family's help. And I know it's like, I don't know, praised on the other side or, when you're on stage or whatever, it's like, I did this myself. I built this, it's like, okay, yeah, a lot of the work is going to be yourself. But I guarantee you having people that love, care about you, that cherish your friendship, cherish the relationships that you built, is how you can, do sometimes the things that are literally not possible without the help of others. So I'm definitely not able to just take this year like, oh, willingly. It's like, oh, I had $1 bajillion sitting in the bank and I just live it. I've been going to Cuba, and it's like, no. It's like, so yes, it's definitely with the support of my family. And so I'm definitely gracious and grateful, not just my family, but my friends as well.
Yes, exactly. So shout out to everybody because I mean that's what you're saying. Like we create this and people see us, but behind us there's a support group, right? There's
100%.
it's just like when we see the movies, right? The like the Marvel movies and all of that, and then the Captain America is just all messed up. It's the team.
It's the team.
It's the team that brings him up and encourages him to go forward, and they believe in his mission. So having that
Right.
as support is great. So this is something, and we're gonna talk more about it, fam, next week when we do the wrap up. But now, Diana, let's talk about creating video. How do you do that? What's the workflow? What you have learned in your journey of video creation, and
Mhm.
while you do that, I will see what's happening because I see that the stream is unlisted. So I'm gonna check I was gonna check what's going on. Maybe if we have a moderator in the group, they can check that out. But I will pass it on to you, Diana.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm so pumped and pleased to be here. So a lot of the times when it comes to content creation, a lot of the mental calories that you burn is on the what ifs. What if, my kid walks in the midst of me recording? What if something happens with the camera? What if something happens with the stream when you're midstream? Those things happen. And so the one thing I would encourage a lot of people to do is think about being fluid. You want to think about just being able to not go with the flow, but have contingencies in place just in case. And so when I talked a little earlier about me dealing with stage 4 endometriosis, I mentioned that because sometimes the systems that you need are ones that you have to develop for yourself. And the way that I was able to develop the system that I'll tell you about just in just a minute, which is my content quadrant, was literally developed because when I would go to work, your job commands whatever amount of time that they have, especially now you're around the holidays, things come up or whatever, or it could just be a busy season at your job, then they demand a certain amount of time. And that could be mandatory overtime included with that. So you guaranteed to give that time away. So the one thing I would say is just look at not so much so how much time you don't have, but how much time that you do have. And a lot of our phones will tell on us with those tracking apps and whatnot to say, hey, you spent this much time on this app. And we'll say, oh, well, that was business. I was watching the specific creator, the specific profile about be honest with ourselves. Most of the time we're not, but our phones will tell on us. Don't look at too much at what you don't have. Look at what you do have. So going back to when I was working full time and creating, because I think a lot of people have something that's a dominant part of their time, unless you are full time. So if you do, and that could also be your children. So put those blocks already on the calendar. You know what that is. You know what time it is that you need for yourself. Like for me, again, at this time, I knew that I needed to when I came home from work. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I've been talking to people all day, and I didn't want to talk to them. So to get home and not talk to nobody, I wanted to soak in the tub, okay, and then I wanted to get something to eat. And then while it was good, I would watch Game of Thrones and relax. So, it would be, so I looked at when do I actually feel like talking to anybody else after that time? It would be like around 6 o'clock. And so I started setting up, I'm not available until 6 p.m. And when you honor your time, your family will honor that time. But if you don't honor the time and the things that you say, then your family and your spouses and your jobs will not honor that time. The other thing was putting boundaries in place that you respect and you honor. And so my boundary, in addition to that, is so I was going to church. At the time, I was teaching teen church, and that was a whole experience. And so you have a lot of time for prepping and stuff like that. I don't take phone calls, text messages from anybody from the job about job stuff when I was clocked out. And so when you clock out of something, actually fully clock out of it. There's no Slack on my phone. There's no, like, I'm not doing none of that stuff because unless I'm clocked in for work, I'm not clocked in for work. Okay. Well, the timing comes with that. So now you list all the things, literally all of the things. Don't try to say, well, I could do this. List all the things. But now I want you to look at the gaps. The time gaps that you have are usually in the morning when you're getting up. Some people are like super bubbly, want to talk and just, spring and sunshine in the morning. I tend to, my voice is super deep when I wake up in the morning. I call it my all statement. I'm not doing nothing. I want to have a strong cup of coffee, and I want peace and absolute quiet. And so in that time, it's like I'm looking at what time is now non-negotiable needs to be my time. And so once you look out at what is your non-negotiable time, don't overdo like with just saying, well, I need 16 hours of, okay, let's be real. So what time is non-negotiable? So that morning time, when I'm getting up and things like that, I want it to be quiet. I want to pray when I get up in the morning so I can get my day started right. And then now at the point there's a certain time gap that I would have about 45 minutes to an hour, which is still true today, where I'm getting up, you're brushing your teeth, you're washing your face, you're taking a shower or whatever, and there's a space. Most people like to listen to music or something like that, so I started to change some things that was just already existing within my time. So a lot of stuff you can get done with your existing time. So whether that was listening to a training that I wanted to, that would just be on mindset and personal development just to get my mind right, or whether I would do voice memos on my phone, and then I have the Apple Watch, so I would have the voice memos shortcut on my phone is on my watch as well. So if I'm driving or whatever, especially like to drive to work and things like that, then what I would do is start documenting what my thoughts are. So a lot of the mental calories that get burned when it comes to creation is you're spinning your own wheels. You're constantly thinking about the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, instead of giving it some place to live. So I would give it some place to live, which is in my voice memos and things like that. So now we can move into other stuff. So like you figure out where your time blocks are, figure out what your circles of time is, if you will. Now, what time do you have actually available? You got your time for work, you got your time for shower, you got the drive home. So that's about 2 hours, sometimes more. Some people's drive to work is an hour. Or sometimes your prep for work is 30 minutes if you work from home or something. So find those time gaps. What can you do to give to yourself that's already existing in your time? You don't have to find time. That time is already there. So now when you get to the place, you've planned all your stuff, because that's how most of my days would start. They're not too dissimilar now. Able to give more time for that. And I like to do what I call 5-minute journals, which helps me in the beginning of the day, which is figure out where you want to go. What do you want to start with? And a lot of times it's at the end of the week, planning that next week that's coming. If you have recording days and things like that. So a lot of the scheduling stuff is a lot of what that frustration is. So to get into now, when it comes to the time, how much time do you have to record? Could you probably have ideas already? I think most people have content ideas most of the time. And so this is how I got into my content quadrant, because some days I would feel good and other days I would not feel great. And so I don't know which day this is going to be. So I had to prepare for either. So on the days that I did not feel well, those are mental days. I can have my journal. I literally keep journals all around me all the time, because at any given point I would need to write something. So I'm in the bed, you're medicated, whatever. I'm writing my thoughts, writing my ideas. For real, this is like legit stuff like the BTS that nobody sees. Like you may be doped up, you get up, you get something to eat. It's like, oh, what about that video idea about such and such? Write it down. Give it some place to live. Because the last thing, and I hear you laughing, and it's like the last thing is like to have a great idea that you forget. And you don't
Yes.
remember you had a great idea. You only remember that you had a great idea, but you don't remember what the idea is.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
you know
about
what?
that.
And it's so great, Diana, to hear you talking about that and about the planning process, because we went through that with Marianne last week. And planning, sometimes when we just see the empty, right, the empty spots, we
Mhm.
fill it with what do you call it? Calories? What is it? You call it?
Mental, just burning mental calories.
Yes. So we just burn mental calories, and it's something that we could be doing more of, right? More that was going to lead to what we want to, the outcome that we want, right? So like you're saying, you wake up in the middle of the night, you write that down, and you go, and then you're like, you wrote it down, it's there. But if we don't see
Yep.
it in our calendars, then is not there, right? Then
Right.
it just leaves an empty spot in our heads, and we fill it with things that are just empty calories or whatever you whatever you
Yeah.
call it.
Real. Because you burn the mental calories, but they have nowhere to go. They have nothing to do. So you now, with the introduction of AI, now we don't have to do so much of the heavy lifting up front. So you can take those voice memos. You can take those random, whether you use Google Notes or you use Apple Notes or whatever. Some people like Evernote and things like that. I'm a pen and paper person in addition to those digital formats. So now you can go and have a thread in ChatGPT or any of your preferred AI tools. Sometimes Claude is really great for certain things with writing. And so what I'll do is I'll say, hey, this is my audio recording. A lot of the apps now natively have where it'll give you the text-based version, or you can drop it into Google Docs. And if you're just like at the desk or something, like I'm always in a capturing mode. That's the one thing always have a space just to create a capture area. And so in my book, not to be one of those people that's like, as I talk about in my book, but no, in the book, I actually talk about just a simple folder system in my phone in my Apple Notes. So one of those is just so I can fully just capture my ideas. That is nothing but the idea. And so it could be a voice memo that I did that I add in there. It's like, oh, I was thinking about an idea about X, and I remember from watching X, Y, and Z video that they did this kind of pop-up style. I think that'll be great for whatever. Whatever your idea is, save it. When you're saving the ideas, you can now start to organize these things and put them into a system. And for me, that goes into my content quadrant. So this is how I help my mental space have some organization. And so if you have ever looked at any kind of quadrant, you know from left, right, then it goes from Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So Q1 is just a quick hitter. These are your YouTube shorts, your Instagram reels. This could be stories. This could be whatever. They don't require a whole lot of time. And so if I know that this is a shorts idea or this is a vertical video idea that's just something quick, then I'll put this as a Q1. Literally, I'll just put like Q1 next to it, or you can make a folder that says Q1. And then my light planners are, these are quick videos where it may just be one or two main points, maybe, but there's not a whole lot to it. Like I can imagine the finished video is going to be 2 to 4 minutes. It's not going to be that long. So I can put Q2 next to that idea. So I'm already knowing this idea is not going to take me a long time. Even if you know this is not something you're not going to record until like maybe, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it could be 4 months later, at least you know this is a video that's not going to take me a whole lot of time. Then you have Q3 with your medium planners. These are going to be like 3 to 7 minutes. I find a lot of video ideas kind of live here between like a Q3, Q4, where it's like this is now like more of a full-fledged video. And then hard hitters is this could be a podcast just based on length, and that's what most of these are about. It's just solely based on length. And then this is letting me know how much time is it going to take me to record. Now you can adjust these times to what it actually takes you to actually record. This is what I find on average, whether it was me or working with clients, that tends to work best, because especially once you have a system to sit down, record, and make it easy, especially with a tool like Ecamm Live, it don't take that long. So we can say it takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to record a Q1, a quick hitter, even though that is going to be, excuse me, get that down. See, even though I know that's only going to be a YouTube short, it's like, why would it take like 5 or something minutes? Because you may repeat yourself. You may have a different take. You may have multiple setups that you want to do, where you're recording a piece to camera, so you have your A roll, and then you have another part where you're showing something off, maybe, or you need to go record that in a different area of the house or the room or whatever. So that just is literally how long is it actually taking me to record. You don't know, start it and stop a timer, whether that be on the ALEXA, so don't set off anybody's automated systems, or you set a stopwatch on your watch, but just like time yourself and how long it actually takes. So for me, like this is what I find to be true. So I'm blocking out on my calendar. If I know I want to do shorts, just book out 5 to 10 minutes. The Q2s for my light planners, those are going to be about 11 to 15 minutes. For my Q3s, my medium planners, those are going to be about 16 to 30 minutes. Because if you have 2 or 3 points for a YouTube video, especially if it's some kind of topic, tips, or whatever, then you know it's going to take you a while. And then 30 minutes to about an hour, especially for your core content videos, those hard hitters, the Q4s. So that way, you know, when I sit down to record something, I'm not playing myself saying it's only going to take me 10 minutes to do this quick YouTube video, but it's a Q3 medium planner and it actually requires more of you. Especially if you start getting into videos where if you have sponsored deals or things like that, maybe you have to do an ad read or something. And so it may take you a minute to get that. Maybe you need to record B-roll. It takes you a couple minutes to do that. So I put in categories in English. I put in categories what those video ideas that I had from my notes and my audio memos and everything. So that way, when I actually sit down to record them, I say, like, dang, I only got like 30 minutes, but I want to do more than just like one video, or I don't want to like play myself and get stressed. So I'm going to do YouTube Shorts. I can go into my list of video ideas and just type in Q1, and then I can see all the video ideas that are simply for YouTube Shorts, TikTok Reels, like it'll qualify for any of those vertical video formats. And so I can just type in Q1, a bunch of videos pop up. Or I can type in Q2, a bunch of videos pop up. And to that point, this even works when you're traveling, because one of the videos that went on to do very well was Doc Rock and I was traveling in Spokane, Washington, and we went to like some area. We just like riding scooters and walking around. So we wind up sitting down and doing a video. I'm like, oh, I got about 10 minutes. I was like, I got enough time for like a quick like Q2, Q3 video. Pull that up. And I'm like, how much time do we have? When are we going to leave about here? I'm like, okay, I got time. Pull up a video idea, and I'm like, oh, this would be a great video I could record real quick. And then that video went on to do well, and it's just me sitting there, and I'm using like my vlogging tripod at the time and my camera. No big deal. I'm able to record, videos done, gets published, and I'm off to the races. And that video goes on to do very well because I'm not just burning mental calories that don't result in something. I'm able to give myself some time, some space, and a little bit of grace to work around my quirks, work around when you feel like recording, when you have days to record. That way you're not stressing yourself out. And now you have these time blocks where you can categorize your time to say like, dag, it's like this Saturday, I don't have that much time, but I do want to get a lot of videos going. I'll have more time maybe on Tuesday. Do all your shorts, do pull up Q1s, do a bunch of those and things like that. So a lot of the how I get through, like when I was publishing a bunch of content, people was like, how are you doing like all of this stuff? Because I'm not wasting my own time. And that's really what it is. You just don't waste your own time. So I'll pause there because I know I just a fire hose of information there for a second. If you wanna,
Yeah, so anyway, people are loving it in the comments. We have tons of great fans of yours, Diana. So I'm just gonna come real quick here and then show you the love that people are just over there giving you. Hey,
good
this
to
is
see
Miss Jill. Hello, Miss Jill. And then we have Daniel here. We have
you.
Louise, Daria. Hello, Daria. And we had James.
James Hicks. And the
Talking
myth, the
about your little groggy comment earlier. And then Daria saying she's listening to these tips in a gap that she has in the morning.
there
See?
you go. There you go.
Awesome. And then Jill says, yes, talk about your book.
It's so funny because me and my friend Noelle, it's like that's one of our things. It's like as I talk about in my book, it's like you feel like got on a top hat and a cigar. It's like you're one of those people. So
I mean, you gotta flex, Diana. You have a book, and the book is pretty good. So you have to flex that book, hey?
keep it around, keep it. It's a big accomplishment. Honestly, it's like it's not until you do the work of what it takes to actually write a book and get it out, whatever kind of a book. Some like I said, my friend Noelle, she has a journal book called the Get Up Journal, and so it takes a lot of you to just like get your ideas together, and it's like, okay, now what do I want to write and all those things. So I'm very, very, very proud of that one. So yeah, I'm very
As you
happy.
should be, as you should be. And we have hello, Men's Life Coaching. How are you? And he loves the quadrant idea, and I hope you took the screenshot as suggested by Jill. And then, oh, hello, Luria.
Hello, Lori.
Hello. And we even have Ken in the chat with us. Like, look at Diana, you're bringing out all the peeps.
I'm saying.
Okay, so if Diana doesn't give me a shout out and an opportunity to be in a stream with her soon, I'm gonna throw a fit.
Well, please don't, Jill. Jill has a special place in my heart, as do her children. Because a fun fact, I her children scarred me. So I'm not going to take a whole bunch of time, but
I'm gonna
her
put you on
kids
full screen for that.
kids or Jill's kids were talking about how they were loving Pokemon and all kinds of things. And I'm like, oh, I'm the world's greatest auntie. Let me go and get my OG Pokemon group of just like, I still have my stuff. They in the sleeves. Unfortunately, I did take out my older brother's old school baseball cards that probably are way more valuable, but this is not beside the point. My Pokemon cards as a youth needed to go in there when I was a kid. So I put those in there. And so I'm like, oh, Jill, let me show you. And so I'm recording on the phone. Her children decide they want to make a video back. They're like, oh, Miss D, we love your collections from the 1900s. And I was like, oh, all right.
I mean, they're
Christmas.
collectibles.
It's like, but they were like from the 19, when Jesus was walking, this is not that old. It's not that old. Okay. It's not 19. All right, it was like 96, 97, or whatever it was. I digress. Her kids were like, from the 1900s. And I'm like, how old are we? And so I love, she's a fantastic. We'll talk. We'll talk.
You see, Jill, yes, I agree. I agree. And by the videos that Jill has shared of her children, they are hilarious, just like her. So,
Exactly.
yes. And then, so Diana, taking it back, right, to the video and how you create them. And you know, a lot of us, so me included, we tend to make the video creation bigger than it is, right?
Mm,
Because of all the moving pieces, right? But as you're saying, if you schedule your day, and typically when it happens, and then please do share it in the comments if this happens to you, but typically when it happens is when we're trying to fit in a video that doesn't fit with our schedule, right? So
mm-hmm.
the slot that we have, that we're like, okay, you know, we can just fit it in this cute little slot right here, and it's not allowing us enough time to prepare for the video because we're trying to do the scripting, the camera setup, all the things in those
Yeah.
15 to 20 minutes. So that's
Yeah.
when it becomes a lot more overwhelming, more like we're like, oh, we cannot do this. I don't have time for this. But we
Mm-hmm.
do, as you mentioned earlier, right? We do.
Percent, because you can also like, so I haven't talked about how this process has morphed and blossomed with the introduction of AI. And so what I love is when you put the chat GPT app on your phone, you can talk to it and it talks back. And so the one thing I will say, if you're a bit lengthy like I am, I will start off by saying, don't interrupt me. Don't say anything, because if you make me lose track, especially if you have a drive, you need to go to a store and it's like 20, 30 minutes away. That's 20, 30 minutes of ideation. And so I'm always looking for my time gaps, and when do I have a time to do nothing? That like I literally can do nothing else. And if I can't be in front of the computer, then maybe I can listen. But if I don't really have time to listen actively in some kind of capacity, maybe I can just talk because I'm solo in the car or whatever. Because if I'm listening, maybe I want to write ideas. Okay, well, here's the thing with AI, I can now discuss this with ChatGPT, or just start the voice memo that can record up to like 10 minutes or so. And so I will do that and start it when like you're at a stop sign or you haven't taken off yet, and just start talking about all the things that you were thinking about around this video idea. Because what it can do is it can pull some of the common questions and things that people are considering around this and that and so forth. And another thing with ChatGPT that I love to do that just kind of sets yourself a little bit apart from maybe other people is telling it not to be a yes man. Tell it, don't pretend like everything I say is the bee's knees Hall of Fame, because it may not be. It's like, so just say if it sucks, say if like that's kind of flat or whatever. Just like be honest, and I'll tell it have a backbone. So that way, when I'm saying anything, I'm actually get a more honest reply. And it's like, well, a lot of people kind of talk about that thing or that point of the video. So maybe again, It's not, my idea was like a level 2, level 3. I'm trying to get down to 6, 7, 8, 9 levels deep in my thinking. And I can do this on the drive to go someplace to the store or whatever. And so, again, it's just finding those time gaps and working with it. And then that way, when it's time for you to actually create something, I'll say this, your recording time is just solely that. It should be in the process of you being able to record, not for you to set up the camera, charge the batteries. No, charging batteries, drinking water, getting notes, planning where the tripod should sit, all that stuff should be like a couple days before it's time for you to sit down. So I have like what I call like the record to edit method, which was, again, I'm coming from work at the time, working at the bank. And so I don't have a lot of time to figure this stuff out or to keep refiguring it out. If I'm going to do anything, it's just a law that I live by. If I'm going to do anything multiple times, that thing deserves a system. And so we all know the acronym for the most part is save yourself time, energy, and money when it comes to a system. So if the tripod is always going to be here, I can take some pieces of gaffer tape, or I was ghetto and I would just take a Sharpie because I'm like, the tripod leg goes here, circle. Tripod leg goes here, circle. Tripod height goes here for me to have like just proper framing, line right there. So I would let the tripod up just to that line and I'm like, done. Set the tripod in those legs, done. The lights, when they were on light stands on the floor, circle around because it can come up with alcohol. It's not that big of a deal for a Sharpie, but then it's like if you know that I'm always going to have to set up the tripod. I'm always going to set up the lights. Even though it's like it's been a while since I've been on my Ecamm app and all that, I still know because of all my systems, my audio delay needs to be at 7. My audio levels need to be at 67% because I set up systems that I can just go to a Google Doc even and just say like, okay, just make sure this stuff is done. I don't have to remember anything. It's just done. So I'm going to do it once. I live by that set it and forget it infomercial from back in the day. It's like if I'm going to do it once, it deserves a system. So once you do that stuff one time, create a system around it of what actually worked better for you. Then when you sit down to record, now all I'm actually doing is recording because I took other time that maybe when I had to wait for the groceries to come out and that's like a 10-minute time gap, I can pull up that idea and say like, I was thinking about this type of thing, or this tip could be X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. You're discussing with ChatGPT, give me the outline for the video. So by the time you get down and sit down to record, you can just actually record. So easy these days. So
Girl,
easy.
listen, you have given so many tips in the span of like what, 5 minutes it was, but what, yes to all of it. And thank you for this because this happened to me the other day. I was talking to Chat and I was lengthy and she just kept interrupting me. And I'm like, listen, and I was in the flow, right? Because
Yep.
okay, in the shower, when you're sleeping and then waking up at an idea or driving, your ideas are lit. Like you're just like, their ideas just flow. So I was there talking to her and she will interrupt me and I'm like, Chad, don't interrupt me until I say I'm done. Girl will not listen. She just was not listening. She would be like, oh, I'm sorry. I will not do that again. And then I'll continue. And she will say, oh, I'm sorry. So have you figured out a way to be able to, do the ideation without interruption?
100%. So what I'll do is and again, if you are a Google Docs person, use Google Docs. If you're Apple Notes, Evernote, use whatever works for you. For me, since I have the iPhone, one of the things I saw was like text replace. And so what I'll do is I'll create like a hashtag called chat. And it literally is like hashtag CHAT. So when I type in hashtag CHAT in anything, it just pre-populates with all of that message. You are such and such. You are to act as my second brain. You're to do X, Y, and Z things for me. This if and oh gosh, I love this. If you learning from somebody, like if you love the content quadrant, whatever, take it, upload it in that thing so that that thread knows in ChatGPT, use this based on the video ideas or based on maybe how long other videos are showing on YouTube. It can do a ton of heavy lifting for you. So that way you pre-save all of that stuff. Then you can just save the text portion of that under hashtag chat. So that way, anywhere on any of my iDevices, I can just type in hashtag chat and it preloads all of what that prompt is, especially if it's a new thread. But most of the time, once you get it into a rhythm and you tell it what you do or you don't like, go back to that hashtag chat, adjust that. And so that way I'm never, again, because the frustrations are a flag. So if I'm constantly like, because I would do the audio messages a lot with ChatGPT, I'm like, if you don't shut your mouth and let me finish, I'm like, I don't know. I was, like you said, I'm in a rhythm. I got this going good. Like, mind your business. And so let me finish saying what I'm saying. So adding in there, like, don't be a yes man. Don't just agree for the sake of being agreeable or positive or X, Y, and Z. So I'll give it parameters on when to correct, when to stop certain things, like whatever things you do or don't like about what it naturally does. And then if there's a framework, whether I'm learning that from somebody's book, I've learned it from a YouTube video or whatever, I will put that in there to say, use this framework in the course of how we do videos, how we're making X, Y, and Z. So that way, it's using that natively. I don't have to teach it and train it or whatever. And if there was a YouTube video, love this. If there's a YouTube video on it, which there is on my channel about, I don't remember the link right now, but there is a video where I talk about this. You can take the link and say, research this video, listen to all the notes. This is what we're doing. A lot of people's videos do that kind of stuff for it's like it's accounting or something. It doesn't matter. You can do that. So yeah, hashtag chat, say pre-saved your initial prompt so that it knows what to do, what not to do, what the parameters and guardrails are. And then if there's images and stuff, you can upload that stuff from a screenshot on your phone or whatever. That way you can just say, and do not start talking until I say that I'm done. And if you hit the 10-minute mark, or you're getting close and it's not working for like you to continue or whatever, just say at the very end, I'm not done yet. Don't reply. Don't start educating me on the issue. Just let me finish. I'll say don't reply, don't say nothing yet other than okay when you received it. So I can send all of that. It says okay, keep going, and then I can start another 10 minutes. So that way you know. So that's what I recommend. Like those are the systems that, especially like when you're doing like ChatGPT audio, that work best. And hashtag in the chat works perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. That it's, I mean, like a clap for Diana in the comments, please, because this is said in this Marianne last week. That's what she shared. She's like, when she's creating a video, you start backwards or chronologically, however you want to do. And what does it take and what days are you going to use to do different things? Ideation, set up your eCam, make sure that you take a break in between, organize your scenes, all the things so that when it is time for us to sit and record those 15 or 20 minutes, however long we decide from that quadrant the video is going to be, then we allowed and we have ourselves ready to create that video. So it's not going to be frustrating because we're not trying to do so many things the same day, right? In 10 minutes or 20.
And then if you're using, just real quick, if you're using a camera or using certain settings on your phone or something like that, take a screenshot if it's like on your phone, or take a picture of that camera screen with all the icons on so you can see your audio levels are at 12, your white balance is set to 4,500 or, or 5,000 kelvins or whatever the stuff is. Save that in a Google Doc. So there's an SOP. So when I was working with my video editor, I could like there's an SOP of if any of all my camera settings, every single thing that's there, and then there would be a ton of information that the camera just gives. But just the basic stuff though. This is the picture profile, this is the LUT that we use, this is the white balance, the brightness, the blah blah blah. And then I had a screenshot of like me on a screen like this. This is what it should produce. This is what that image should produce. So if any other day that something doesn't look right, and let's say, like I try to set my systems up for when I'm not feeling my best, when you have a slight headache, but you can still work, when you're annoyed, or it's that time of the month, ladies, and you could throw fireballs from your mouth if it were possible. Yeah. It's like everybody can catch it today. So even on those days, we can still run the system and it works. So I try to make it as foolproof as possible.
That is, you know what, Diana? Yes, because we create the system for those days, for you
Mhm.
know, for the down days. It is true because when we are in a good, you know, in a good space, everything works
Yep.
great. We know what to do. Oh my gosh, you know what, Diana? This is awesome. We're gonna have to do a follow up on a lot of things that you touched. I mean, you touched on ChatGPT things that I wasn't even thinking about, right? Because I might just, and then also the systems, right? If you're gonna do it, create a system for it, because
Mhm.
we spend a lot of time trying to do the thing over and over again. Whereas if we create a system, we just have to follow that. And pretty soon, doing that, we won't have to really because we already know. Unless
Yep.
it's that time when we are just a little down and need that reassurance. But yeah,
Yep.
we're going to have to do all the things, Diana. Thank you. You have been incredible. It's so nice to see you. And here, and then let me go back to the comments, see what the fam has. Let me see, because Paul, yeah, so Paul is saying that if you have used ChatGPT for a while, you can ask it if the response sounds like your voice, like the response that it
Mhm.
gives you. And then also tell it to make sure the responses don't sound like AI. Do you remember
Yes.
when he was giving dashes left and right? I was like, chat, don't
So
give me dashes.
So what I'll do, what I'll again, there's a system in place for that. So because ChatGPT will consistently change, and so like right now, one of the patterns that I see that it does is like that's not such and such, that's that, and that's such and such. So it's like that's not stress, that's protecting your space, and that's sacred. And it's like, and so it'll say that framework for everything. It's like that's not dehydration, that's proper hydration, and that's amazing. And so it'll keep saying it in that. And I'm like, I hate that. And so what I'll do is I'll have a brand voice guide. And so this you'll see more the language of that in the copywriting space. However, I think every creator needs a brand voice guide because there is a certain kind of way that you talk. And so I mean, for me, I went down to creating a dictionary of my language. And so when I say the bee's knees, if I say something is the bee's knees, that's like the highest award known to man. You know, like it is the greatest coup de grace of all things. If I say something is the white chocolate of something, then that means it's up there with the bee's knees, but just slightly below. But it's the best of the best, more or less. And so there's language and things about yourself that I would say just naturally, or I'll say like kicking rocks, or that that's dope, or dope.com, or I'll just say little quirks about things. And so having it pull videos to pull like my language and things. So a brand voice guide essentially is that, like what Paul is talking about, of what you actually sounds like, what makes this language like you. The connector words that I'll use, I won't say therefore a lot, but I'll give point after point after point, and then if there's still one more, then I'm like, and furthermore, such and such and such and such. Or if I'm upset, then I'll say, and freaking furthermore. Like if I'm mentioning something, I gotta get something off my chest. Then I'm like, and freaking furthermore. So there's a bunch of those descriptors that I have my dictionary, but all that stuff is encompassed in a brand voice guide. And this doesn't have to be something to do today, but keep adding to it just as you notice stuff. But Google up some brand voice guide templates if you want, or you can ask ChatGPT what goes into one and just start collecting with, say, from, because now it has a unified memory. So you can say, you see how all of the responses of how I actually talk. What I want you to do is create a brand voice guide so that any AI tool will know how to sound like me genuinely and what words to use, what not to overuse, stuff I would never say in a bajillion years. Bajillion is another one of my favorite words. And so it knows to pull and add in those things. So, for example, if I asked it, which I prefer to write emails myself, but if I asked it to write an email for me to see how close could it get, it'll say stuff like, and it takes a bajillion days for you to, and I'm like, okay, that was pretty good. So,
You're like, yeah, you're getting me, yeah. This is, I mean, Diana, I have a whole series created for you for Unmuted. I mean, February Unmuted is already set with all the things that you have shared with us today. And I appreciate you so much for everything. This wasn't only about video creation. This was about, I mean, the ideation, the everything that leads to creating that video, right? Or that series of videos that is going to be sustainable for you, that the workflow or systems, as you call them, are going to be effective because you have already broken it down into pieces that you're going to be able to follow later for your future self. So, and that's all you talked about. I love it. I enjoyed it, fam. Please thank you to Diana in the comments. We will see her more often now, I hope. And yeah, this is great. So let's go to the comments one more time before we say goodbye. And Simply Taisha, hello. Nice to see you here again. Yes, Diana, you're fabulous. You're fabulous. And next week, we are going to be here on a wrap up. All of the collaborators are going to be with us, including Diana. So we're going to have Marielou. We're going to have Marianne. We're going to have Faye, Jill, and Katie. So we're going to do the wrap up, and we're going to get to hear from Diana again. So thank you so much, everyone. Diana, would you like to share any last minute pointers, tips?
No, everybody have a fantastic Christmas. Like enjoy your family 1,000%. Because they need you. I don't think we hear enough of like how much your family needs you. Your family needs you. Be there for them. Be present. Just go into the holidays 100% enjoying it with the, you know, just pure joy and good cheer, but just be 100% present with your family. If you're being with your family, if you're doing it like a friends giving-ish type Christmas vibe, then do that, but just be 100% present and really enjoy that time with your family. Your people love you. They need you.
Aw, that is very true. That is very true. We're going to enjoy it, everyone, and we will see you on the 29th. And we have things to talk to you about 2025. So please come. Next week is going to be at 11 on the 29th, 11 a.m. Eastern. So we will see you here then. Thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you on Monday. Bye, Diana. See you shortly.
Bye.